Johnny Somali.
There's two roads, right? There's the good road and the bad road. Like, which one did he choose? He chose the bad road. He chose to double down and get even worse. You know, twerk on them and throw baby oil on them and make references to P. Diddy.
You mentioned this other guy, Vitaly.
He stole a motorcycle. He stole the security guard's hat. He tried to take his gun. I've never seen this before with Nuisance streamers. People that are liberal and conservative agree on this. People that are Chinese and American agree on this. And no matter what your difference might be, like poor, rich, nobody likes these people.
When foreigners come to Thailand, what should they be careful about? What is up, guys, and welcome back to the One Night in Bangkok podcast. If you guys are new here, my name is Eric. I'm all the way from Boston, USA. I'm here with my favorite Bangkok podcast girl, Erin, and we're bringing you all the best people and places and stories from right here in Bangkok, Thailand. If you're moving here soon, if you want to live here, if you're traveling to Thailand this year, hit the subscribe button. We've got so many people and places and things we want to show you in this city, and I don't want you to miss anything. If you want to support us on Buy Me a Coffee, I'll put the link down below. We always like to go out for a drink after the show. Check out our Clips channel, and the audio-only version of the podcast is on Apple and Spotify podcasts. So check that out as well down below. Tonight, we have a very special guest from not far away in Thong Law here, Andrew Esquire, Legal Mindset.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
How's it going?
So it's going good.
I just want to tell people, like, I was watching your channel, and then you mentioned something and it made me realize, oh, you're in Thailand. And then I think I reached out and you said, oh, I'm in Thong Law. And I was like, oh, that's like 2 seconds from here.
Yeah, I'm within an 8-minute walk of you.
That's funny. You know, there's a lot of random like YouTuber online personalities that live in Bangkok that you would never know. Like another one is, I think his name is Trevor Rainbolt, the map quest guy that he does like the geo map game thing. Mm-hmm. He's in Bangkok. I'm like, that's so random. Mm-hmm. So anyway. It's not random. Oh yeah. Well,
it's because Bangkok's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I guess if you could be anywhere, if you have the ability to live remotely or wherever you want in the world,
and you're open-minded to living in another country.
Yeah.
Because that's a big barrier for people. So if you're willing to live in another country, you're willing to cross the Pacific barrier, you're willing to get over that hump. Bangkok's number one, and that's why I'm here. I mean, in terms of balance, right? For me, and of course, everybody has a different balance, you know, and some sort of mix they like. Maybe they like quality, maybe they like cost, maybe they like good schools, healthcare, something like that. But, you know, I think overall, best in show is Bangkok, because you have top-notch facilities, hospitals, schools, everywhere to go, food that's amazing from around the world, people from around the world, truly not just a cross section, but really from genuinely every country I've met here. And you've got a culture that really is accepting and welcoming of that. So put those things together and you have Bangkok. And also, you know, it helps to have good housing stock that is not $4,000, you know, a unit like
I thought you were going to say beautiful ladies.
Well, I mean, that's a natural. I mean, that's a given.
I don't know.
I don't need to say that. Why do I need to say that?
I don't know if you've seen what the girls look like in Boston, but there's a slight difference between, you know, Boston girls and Bangkok girls.
Well, I grew up in Miami, so I didn't have that problem. We don't have that problem in Miami. It's always swimsuit season, so you got to stay in shape.
So you are a YouTuber.
Yes.
Or at least that's what you're doing now. And I've been watching your channel. Can you describe for people that have never seen your channel kind of what it's about and what you talk about?
Yes. So my channel is Legal Mindset, and my motto is be your own judge. So I try to cover interesting legal issues and have them both be educational and entertaining. So my goal is to, you know, have fun, enjoy stuff with the chat, make jokes, enjoy yourselves, but also teach people something and let them learn something a little bit about the law, the system, the way things work. I started by mainly covering trials. I started with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, then proceeded the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. Most people have heard of that one. And then I just went from there covering large topics until I landed on a little character called Johnny Somali. And I have been tracking his trial from start to finish. We're going to get into him. He's a Nuisance streamer. But I try to go through the whole process and dig down in the details, because in the legal process, the details is often where the case is made, where you win or lose. So just summarizing it, just looking at the cliff notes, it really doesn't do it justice as to the whole story and the whole picture. So I tend to do deep dives on subjects. Another interesting topic I covered was VTubing. Have you heard of virtual YouTubing?
No.
It is where people have anime avatars on YouTube, and there's a person that's face modeled to that, and they act out and sing and do all those sorts of stuff, and they look like an anime character, but they're live, and they make bank. They make millions. They're the biggest YouTubers globally in terms of revenue. Exactly, that you've never heard of. The biggest that you've never heard of. Huge in Japan. And they have really crazy contracts because a lot of the English-speaking ones are in America or Canada or somewhere that's English-speaking, but they have these Japanese idol contracts. And have you heard about like Japanese idols?
I've heard of like K-pop idols.
Yeah, it's similar.
Okay.
Similar. So the contracts are crazy. They own you. They own your soul, right? So everything you do, you are their person. They kind of modeled their contracts the same way, which we as Americans don't really accept. The Japanese contracts can often be allowing things that frankly are illegal in America. So I covered that topic, went really well, and I try to focus now on, as I can, Asian topics, particularly things interesting to expats like myself, as someone who spent 3 years in Korea, and now I'm going on my 3rd year here in Thailand.
Okay. So this makes a lot more sense. So we're going to talk a little bit about you and your background. We're going to talk about the Johnny Somali case.
Sure.
We're going to talk about Vitaly, his situation in the Philippines.
Not looking good for Vitaly.
And then we're going to loop back around and talk about kind of what's going on here in Thailand and maybe some things to be aware of here in Thailand as a foreigner, because we're not in Kansas anymore.
No.
So, but let's talk about you. So you said you're from Miami.
Yes.
And you're born in Florida, or you?
I was born in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
305. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what is your background? Are you an attorney, or what is your background?
I'm an attorney and a lawyer. The difference is with those distinctions in the U.S., they're very interchangeable. Other jurisdictions, they're not. The big difference is one of them, you have to be registered with the Bar Association of your state. The other, you just have to pass the bar and attend law school. So an attorney has to be registered with the state. A lawyer just has to pass the bar and go to law school. I've done both. I'm a member of the Florida bar, right?
Okay. I wanted to clear that up because I feel like sometimes people, do you ever get people that say, oh, this guy doesn't even know, you know, he's a fake, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People say that all the time. And of course I'm a real Florida attorney. Now I always disclose when I'm talking about foreign law, like if I'm talking about Korean law or Philippines law with Vitaly, I am not a Philippines lawyer. I am not a Korean lawyer, but as an American lawyer, I can understand better than a general member of the public the legal terms and processes, because many of them are similar to what we have in the United States.
Sure. And what brought you out of Miami?
I've always been a traveler. I love traveling. It's in my blood. My family's all around the world. I have family on every continent now that I'm in Asia. So it's really something that I always wanted to do. I did couch surfing as a kid, and I've been to, I think, almost 100 countries. I have to count, but a lot. And I always thought, why do I have to get on the plane to go back home? Because you don't want to leave, right?
I think a lot of us watching this right now can relate to that when we came here.
It's the Thailand problem, right? It's the, what is the meme? The loneliest place is the Savannah Pool escalator.
Yeah, the escalator in the airport.
Yeah, when you're going up, like I love that meme. And it's so true. And I just thought, I don't want to feel that feeling. I feel the feeling now when I land in Savannah Pool. I'm like, I'm home. Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
And it's awesome. Yes, really.
When that fresh Bangkok pollution smell hits my face, I'm like,
okay,
we're back.
You're going to be the negative one, right, Eric? You're going to be the we don't have the pollution smell. With rainy season, it gets washed away.
Yeah.
The visibility has been amazing lately.
Yeah,
it's
I was
been
actually
great.
just talking to Ern about this. I like this time of year.
Yeah,
totally
I like it
different.
Too. I'm a low season maximalist. I love the low season. It's great. Promote low season. It is fantastic.
Okay, so how long have you been in Thailand?
3 years now, but the first year I was doing a lot of back and forth from Korea,
Yeah.
so there was a lot of me flying back and forth a lot. I also travel a lot to Japan, and I did for a period of time. I was considering is it Bangkok or Manila, and I definitively chose Bangkok over Manila. No offense to the Philippines; it's a great country, but Bangkok has so many more advantages.
Yeah. Were you planning to make a move, or did you just come here for a holiday trip and you said, I like it?
So originally I moved to Korea. I actually was working at a law firm, and I was about to blow my brains out, working 80 hours, 90 hours a week, insane amount of time. And I said, look, I'm really done with this lifestyle. It's miserable. I looked at the old lawyers. They're miserable people. And I said, why would I want to become these miserable people that are unhappy with their lives? I don't want to be that. So I said, instead of doing that, I'm going to work for a company, but work remotely during COVID. And then I had the opportunity, because it was fully remote and they didn't really care, I could just go anywhere I wanted, including Korea. So I said, I got to do this before I get too old, because you get too old, you're lazy. And I didn't want to be one of the guys coming abroad when I was 60 or 70 or 80. And you can't even do anything fun then. You know, you can't.
You could do something.
Well, okay, all right.
I think the guys in Pattaya would disagree with you.
Sorry, all of the retirees who are now angry at me now. Actually, and actually, I'll put a little pin in that. In Bangkok, in Thailand in general, I don't think there's really an age limit.
Sure.
I
think you de-age when you get off the plane here.
Yes. Everyone says I'm young, which makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so amazing.
Can I know how old are you?
38.
38.
Yeah.
You look younger than that.
See, yeah, exactly. Take good care of yourself. But it's something where, you know, I wanted to be able to really get used to the culture and the place, maybe learn the language a little bit more, learn the place, feel like it's home. You need more time for that. I feel like as an old person, I would just be more of a visitor, because I would have spent all my life in where I was.
That's very true.
So now I think, if I stay here, I will spend the majority of my life abroad. So that will change the balance of my life. So it'll feel more like home to me, and it already does, frankly. So that's what I decided to do. I put a gun to my head by setting certain timelines that if I didn't meet them, they would be painful for me. So I sold everything, sold my car, because it was during the chip shortage. I sold my car for 1,000 USD less than I bought it for, brand new. It had 100,000 miles on it. It was 6 years old.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Ford Fusion. Crazy, insane. And had damage and stuff. I couldn't believe it. But came to Korea. I couldn't come to Thailand because Thailand was under lockdown.
Yeah.
Couldn't come to Japan. I had a Japanese visa. They wouldn't let me in because they did a total lockdown. But Korea had a loophole. If you had a job or a business opportunity there, you could go. So I found one. I spent 2 weeks in their, let me be nice. Their prison-like quarantine.
Okay.
Because remember, I'm coming from Florida where we had no COVID rules at that point because we'd already lifted them all and we're partying and having fun. Miami, Florida was the most free city, big city in the U.S. during COVID. And, I went from that to Korea where they gave me a phone app. And because I didn't have a SIM card yet and I was relying on Wi-Fi, some of this Wi-Fi would die and they would think I went outside and a bunch of people would come and
to check
that I was there.
How long that you had to do quarantine?
2 weeks alone in a small Korean room.
Yeah.
I had ramen and bananas. That was it. They couldn't even let you go shopping. You couldn't buy anything. You could
straight away after you landed at the airport.
They put you on a special train like it was Contagion, the movie Contagion.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I had a similar experience here.
It was really bad. I honestly, that was kind of a horror part of it. But then after that, it all got better and they blew away with the rules. Korea was awesome for a while because I know this is weird, but I don't like being, they don't call them farang in Korea. It's weguga and foreigner, right? I like being the only foreigner in a place. I like that. And for a while, because of COVID, I almost always was. And it was super awesome in Korea. Now the digital nomad thing's picked up. They have a digital nomad visa. A lot more people in Korea. It's the demographics are looking a little different. But Korea was great. I loved it. The food is great. The people are great. Korean women are beautiful, of course, naturally. I had a Korean girlfriend there. Had a great time. Had friends, everything. My best friend as a lawyer was there, Jeff Harrison. And I wanted to see more of Asia. I'd only seen Japan. I'd never seen Thailand, never seen the Philippines, Indonesia, anywhere else, Vietnam. So I came first to the Philippines just for Boracay, just for partying, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I came to Thailand, and it was one night in Bangkok.
Yeah, right.
One night in Bangkok.
What did you do that first week?
Yeah.
That's under NDA. I think I'm going to have to NDA that one out. No, that first week was crazy. I just couldn't believe it was real. To be honest, I really thought like it's like America when it was fun, and people knew how to have fun and like not be so serious and be so, uptight. It's just awesome. You can't explain it to people who have never been.
It's very
here.
hard to explain before you.
They think you're lying. They actually think you're lying, right?
Yeah. I don't even bother. And that's actually.
I don't bother anymore. Yeah, I don't bother.
One of the reasons I started this podcast was just because it's so hard to explain to people in America or that I know what people are like here, what it's really like living here, the types of things you see, you come across, So we've been lucky enough to have a lot of interesting people here. Like,
you had some great guests, some really awesome guests, big content creators. Yeah,
we try to get like a good cross section because, like you said, this city has so many different people from all over the world. It's like the New York of Southeast Asia.
What are you talking about? I thought it was just like the Hangover tours, like monkeys and elephants.
See, that's the problem.
That's the problem. Yeah, exactly. The problem is the only thing they know is like elephants, lady boys, and like.
We're trying. I mean, my side, I was trying to get like more of like local or Thai people to come on here, but it just sometimes it's about the language. Yeah, I think if I got like I have so many interesting people like Thai friends, but the point is just the language, which I really want them to share things, to make the balance between like foreigners and Thai. So,
and I think the thing that's amazing too, and I'll say this about Thai people, and I know Koreans are going to get big mad about this, and Japanese as well. Sorry guys, I'm just being honest. Years of travel here and living in both places. Thai people have a better functional grasp of English than they do in Korea and Japan.
Can you make it easy to understand? What does it mean?
Functional means the way Thai people use English and understand English.
Yeah.
They get it. They understand. When you say something, it's kaujai. It's like they understand. If you're talking about money, you're going to a restaurant, you're going to a bar, they get it. You know how many times I went to Korea and I went to Japan, and they look like this. Like I'd say, I'd ask them for something in Korean or Japanese, right? And I'd say it in Korean or Japanese, not in English even. And they look at me like, and just stare at me.
Are they trying to communicate, or they're just shocked?
They're shocked and they don't know what to do, and they're scared. Sometimes it's scared. Sometimes they're surprised. Sometimes it's they don't know the word, right? And they usually apologize, right?
Yeah.
Whether josamhamnida or sumimasen, whatever, and then they'll like run off and like talk to somebody else quietly, and then run back and then do the thing. Or I'll have to, you break out the app or something else like that if you really have to. But, in Thailand, they get it. They generally know what you're going to do. They know the type, they're really primed for interacting with people, tourism industry, but not just that, just human interaction. So I think the more solitary nature of Korea and Japan versus Thailand, which is very social, like I think that plays into the way they use English. Even if in Korea and Japan, they can take tests and they can on paper score higher. It's because they memorize the words and they forget them. And I would talk with Hagwon teachers, and was it Aikaiwa teachers? Aikaiwa is Japan, Hagwon is Korea. The English teachers, right? The dreaded English teacher job, right? The one that everybody gets if they don't know what to do and they want to come to Asia. And they would tell me that their students don't actually learn anything really other than memorizing for the test they have to take for school.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. Because their parents spend thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to send them to these schools, and they don't learn anything. But yet somebody who's out there selling, somtam is going to know more because they're interacting with Farang every day to sell the song.
They use it in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Real English. Like that's what you need, a real Thai, whatever, real language. That's the most practical language that I've learned in my travels time around the world.
Okay.
So that's why I love Thailand. It's when people say, we have problems here if I only speak English, I said, absolutely not. Never.
No, but there's two sides of that coin, because then I feel like a lot of people come here and they make zero effort to adapt to the language or the culture because it's so easy.
Well, there's a tourist versus expat, right?
Oh, sure.
So as a tourist, you're not going to have a problem.
Of course.
As an expat, I'm going to judge you and shame you because I absolutely, in fact, all of my friends, we make fun of each other.
Yeah.
One of my friends, he's studied the Thai, he's really good with languages. So he studied the Thai alphabet quickly. And I am better at speaking than him. I'm way better. I'm still better than you, Ryan.
Hey.
But he could read quicker than I could.
Yeah.
So he would call me illiterate. He would say, oh, you can't read. You can't read. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to read. So the next week, I learned the Thai script so I can read the consonants. I'm still working on the vowels, right? The vowels throw me off a little bit, but I can read the consonants. So if I know the word already, or I know how to say the word, I'm like, oh, that's that. And he's like, and that's a good competition, healthy competition.
That's good.
But I think if you're a Farang who's been here for, which is, not a derogatory word. If you're a Farang who's been here for 10 or 20 years and you haven't learned any Thai or you've taken the effort, I'm not sorry that you have problems,
Do most people that watch your channel realize that you're in Thailand?
I say it all the time where I'm at. Many of them get a little bit confused because I travel back and forth. Now this year I've been a Thai guy. I've been in Thailand a lot. I've spent some time in Vietnam. I am going to Korea again for the Johnny Somali case as well. I've been there beginning of the year. I was there a lot. And then March, and then I'll be again at some point. I'm not telling because Johnny's threatening me, so I'm not going to tell him exactly when I'm going, but I'll be there, Johnny. But people will get confused whether I'm living in Korea or Thailand, but they do know I'm in both.
Okay.
Generally, my viewers. Now, you wouldn't know because I'm in just a nice apartment. I mean, look, we're in your apartment and, without revealing any intimate details, this apartment could go for, in Miami, $3,000 easily if it's got a good view, nice location.
For sure, yeah.
Easily. I don't know what would it go for in Boston?
4,000 up for sure, depending on where it was. But I think in Miami it could be more now.
No. Yeah, if it's got an ocean view, mine had an ocean view. It went from 2,500 when pre-COVID to it's 5,000 now.
Yeah. No, Boston, forget it.
Yeah.
So expensive.
Yeah. But that's why you see when we say, oh, for Farang, it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's, of course, when I tell people my rent is like, I don't want to dox my rent, but somewhere between like Simun, right? That's expensive for Thai.
That's quite a lot.
But for us, right, 30,000, 40,000 baht,
yeah,
that's reasonable.
Yeah, it's all relative.
For the quality that you'd want that's comparable to quality. Of course, there's 15K baht apartments.
Well, a lot of people always, they make comments when it comes to how much people spend on rent here, but it comes down to a lot of things. The location.
Yeah.
What is it? An old building, a new building? Is there a rooftop pool? Is there no pool? Like,
do you care?
Yeah, you got to pick what's important to you. And maybe that's the location. Maybe you don't care about the location. So
could be your friends. Like, I mean, all my friends live in the same neighborhood. So one of them moved into my building. I think he's stalking me. And then, another buddy is renting a place around the corner from me. So we're all in the same little area, which has good bars. As you know, Tonglo has really good bars. And
not a bad place to live in Bangkok.
No, it's not horrible. It's not horrible.
Hey guys, I've been checking the comments and I get the same question over and over again. Eric, where is a good place to go out in Bangkok? I have some friends coming to town, or I have a date night. Where is a fun place to go for dinner or a party? I recently went to Mami Rose at M Sphere Mall. It's located on the 5th floor on the M Wonder floor, and I had a great dinner and a great time. It's such a unique dining experience in Bangkok. It really gives you those Miami party vibes. So if you want to try something fun and a bit different, that's not a typical boring, quiet restaurant, I definitely suggest you check out Mami Rose. I'm going to put all their info in the link down below. You guys can check them out and let me know what you think. Now, let's get back to the episode. So we mentioned Johnny Somali a few times.
Sure.
So Johnny Somali is a streamer. What does he stream on? Twitch or
Kick? He streams on. He did stream on Kick until he was booted off for what he did in Korea.
Okay. Can we first explain before we get into Johnny and Vitaly, What is this whole streaming thing for people that don't watch these streamers or they're not aware?
Well, we're on YouTube in case you didn't guys know. We're on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
So YouTube is a streaming platform. There are several streaming platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and there's smaller ones. Johnny streams on a very small one right now, which doesn't give him any money. I'm not going to mention it to give him credit, but these are just places you can stream.
Live. This is live.
You can also stream on other platforms. I think IG is the last streaming now. I don't follow. I'm not an IG guy. And then I think X allows it as well. So a lot of platforms allow it, and they're starting to monetize it and allow better monetization. The thing with Kick is it was number one where all the Nuisance streamers streamed, and I will define that in a second. And number two, they don't really enforce the rules that hard. Unless you clearly break the law and get caught for it and charged for it, they're not going to do anything to you. But when you cross those lines, then maybe they might get rid of you. So they were very loose with their enforcement of TOS, unlike YouTube or Twitch, which tend to be more strict with the TOS enforcement. YouTube is the most strict. Twitch is under that, and then the other platforms would be under that. In terms of service, things like saying bad words, right? And adult content.
Yeah.
They allow different levels of that.
Yeah. And so these Nuisance streamers.
Yes.
Explain that whole thing.
So Nuisance streaming. So, okay, we right now are on YouTube. We're making money. You make money on your podcast. In full disclosure, right? There's revenue, ad revenue that will come in right through Google AdSense. I get the same thing. Also, people can get, if you're a live streamer like myself, donations during the stream. So I receive, when I stream, donations during my stream. And these Nuisance streamers on their platforms also have the same thing. They also have something called text-to-speech, which is sort of like your phone. When you press the button and you can speak into it, but reverse. So their viewers can put things in the text, can type things in, and they will have a speaker that will play them out loud in real life for everybody to see or hear, including things like music or offensive phrases, right? Anything they can put into this. Now, they can choose to moderate that and to keep out bad words if they want, but of course they don't do that. Because it's all
that's
fun.
the fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're getting paid for, right? And that's why they're Nuisance streamers, because they go around with these speakers that are either playing annoying music or, these vile messages. Usually they're very dirty, and they a lot of times go around public places like the metro, or in the case of Johnny Somali, he's gone to Tokyo Disneyland and Lotte World, which is like, you could call it Korean Disney World, essentially, around women and children, elderly people, and play really bad messages. And that is what we call the Nuisance. It's
so
really
they'll
annoying.
they'll live stream for hours, right? While they do all this stupid stuff.
And a lot of times they will get confronted by police, and many of them have been arrested. Many of them are convicted criminals. There's a famous case, you probably know it. You've heard of the Poseidon case in Thailand?
Which one?
I've vaguely heard of it, but I don't really know what happened.
He was in a hotel here, and it was never mind. It was a very nice posh Haiso hotel.
Yeah.
And he was in the restaurant area, and I think he put on lingerie and he was doing a lap dance while streaming it in the restaurant, which which under Thai law would fall under obscenity, public display. Now, a lot of people like to have misconceptions about Thailand, that it's some sort of free-for-all and you can do whatever you want. That's not true legally.
Yeah, they've just been watching The Hangover.
Right. They've been watching The Hangover, and they've been listening to, just stereotypes, which are not true about Thailand. They're very much not true about Thailand. And with him, he got convicted here, and he was ultimately booted out of the country and banned from the country. And he was kind of the top little dog there, and a lot of these people spawned underneath him, including Johnny Somali, and Vitaly is kind of a related person. Okay. But they went around and realized they can make thousands of dollars being annoying. And what they do, and the real problem, and this is why it's really offensive, and everybody should know this who doesn't know, these people, before they go to the countries, they plan how they can annoy the locals. So they research what the locals are sensitive about, and they intentionally do it.
But like they're not scared because like they know that's gonna break the laws or the rules. Like they know it.
They're American. They think they can get out of anything. No, I'm serious. That's their defense.
Really?
They believe that. Ching ching.
Wow. So they think maybe if they after someone saw it and then they can be free after that easily.
They think that their passport gets them out of everything because they think all they're going to do is say, oh, stupid person, right? Gaijin or Weigugin or Farang here. Oh, stupid person. Let's just deport them. They want to be deported because the deportation will earn them money because people will their viewers are like fans and enemies at the same time. They want to see them get in trouble. That's what they're paying for, right?
And then they're going to donate for that?
And they make more money from their stream, way more than the fine. The fine is nothing. The fine is nothing for them.
Yeah.
So the only way to punish them is to put them in jail. Right. Or if you catch them quickly, you can kick them out before they make a lot of money, right? But if you don't, they're just going to laugh and do it again. And many of them have had problems over and over and over again because they just pay the cost.
Yeah. So this guy Johnny Somali.
Yeah.
So he had an incident in Japan
and in Israel.
Yeah. Which one was first?
First Japan, then Israel. Yeah.
What happened in Japan? Because Japan is a very
multiple things.
Because when you think of Japan, how can we describe this? It's a very specific culture. Yes. I don't know how to say this.
Yeah.
yes. Otaku culture, right? Otaku. It's like they hyper focused on things, right? But also, the thing about Japan is it's a high trust society. I love Japan. By the way, I love Japan. I love Korea. I love these countries. There's pros and cons to every country. Thailand as well. There's pros and cons. But in Japan, respect for others is super important. It's not just respect. It's predicting what they want and predicting a way to be polite and give them what they want before they want it. It's super polite. And it's often really interesting because that culture has very polite elements, but at periods of its culture, it was very violent. But it's sort of a balancing act, right? Like Japan was a very violent culture, but also has very cute culture now. We got anime and cute stuff, right? So it's very interesting. Japan's a very fascinating country with balance, right? They work hard, they party hard. But anyways, he knew that the Japanese wouldn't confront him directly. And he was actually going to these places, and he thought the same of Korea. We'll get to that. But he said, the Japanese I'm not worried about. I'm worried about the Americans there. I'm worried about the foreigners there because they're the ones that are going to confront me. And lo and behold, he went on a metro, a Japanese car. Have you been to Japan, Aaron?
Never.
Okay. You've been to Japan?
Briefly.
Okay. The trains are quiet. It's not, the BTS is pretty quiet, but it is like pin drop quiet. You don't talk on the train. It's quiet.
Yeah.
So he was blasting these messages on his speaker. And he was also, and the messages were not just loud, they were offensive, right? I don't even want to say it, but he was referencing the atomic bombings, right?
Oh God, okay.
Like over and over again, like, and like eventually he was confronted by a Korean American, who came up to them and said, look, this is not cool, bro. Stop what you're doing. Stop this. And he was confronted by several others in Japan, including eventually Japanese people did step up. There were, I think, allegedly Yakuza members that confronted him, etc. He was arrested after he trespassed at a construction site, and he did a couple other things, obstructed a couple other businesses. He was arrested. He was held for 3 months, I believe, and then he was released. So he only served about 3 months, but like detained, like in jail.
So
right?
he did go to jail.
Not really. It was like the before you. So it's pre-trial.
Office?
Yeah, pre-trial.
Yeah.
So he didn't go to the prison. He went to the
Not
jail.
the real-
Went to jail, right? So it was not as rough as the long-term prison would have been.
Yeah, but when you say that, I think, okay, so he had that close call.
He did, and he spent 3 months that he wasn't able to stream. He was away from everybody.
Yeah,
so
but you would think after that, maybe he'd give it up and, not try that again.
So there's two roads, right? There's the good road and the bad road. Like, which one did he choose? He chose the bad road. He chose to double down and get even worse. Everybody who knew him, and I've talked to everybody around that will talk to me, including his head moderator, said he got way worse after that. And he focused on really triggering the Koreans. And he said, what could we do that would really make them mad? And that was targeting the comfort women statues, which are statues to the let me say this politely, the women that were forced into service with the Japanese army, essentially prostitution, right? They're essentially like state-owned military operated brothels. It was not just Korean women, it was Philippines, China, many other countries that were forced into this. It's horrific, it's horrible, and he knew that. He knew it going in. And so he decided to target those statues and twerk on them and throw baby oil on them and make references to P. Diddy, who we have the P. Diddy trial right now in America, which is for very crazy sexual crimes. So talking about sexual stuff. And by the way, these people were minors and the statue is of a minor. So he did that knowingly. And that's actually not really a crime in Korea. The statue stuff wasn't the crime. He went around the city and caused problems and a nuisance in the metro. He went to the theme park. He went to a convenience store and he threw ramen and cursed out.
I saw that video at the convenience store. He was got some noodles and he's like splashing. He's basically causing havoc. This poor shopkeeper is basically telling him like, you can't do this. Like, and I think one of the reasons maybe Westerners like Asia is the affect that many Asian people have.
Yes.
Like very polite, very soft, but I bet you can imagine if he did this in America, in New York City,
he'd be knocked out.
He'd be
Miami, New York, Chicago, LA. He'd be
what
done.
they gotta do?
That's that's why they don't do it there. And also we have guns. So there actually was a case that just happened this week, and I follow this stuff closely. But there's a case where somebody, we call it ding dong ditch. It's when you knock on the door and you run away. So he knocked on somebody's house, their house, not apartment, house, and the guy shot him.
Yeah, right? through the door?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's through the door, you open the door and shot him.
Yeah.
But he I think he didn't just knock, he knocked and kicked the door. And then the guy shot him.
Oh, so the guy thought he was breaking in.
Yeah. So, once again, that stuff might happen in America and they know that, they're fearful of that. These people are not brave, they're actually cowards.
Yeah, so Ern, if you go to America, don't go and start knocking on random doors.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, legally, it's called castle doctrine in America.
It also depends where you are, what state.
Yes, there's complications to it.
I'm from Massachusetts, and that's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna fly there.
Well, that's just your judges won't agree to it. That's the thing. Even though the law is it exists on paper, in practice, it's not right. Like owning a handgun in New York, but that's a separate topic. But I'm from Florida, so a lot of different environment. Yeah, I had a concealed carry permit, so what can I say? But with these streamers, I realized how they were getting away with it. They're getting away with it because what happens is they get arrested, and then the news cycle dies down. Nobody covers the legal process, and so because it dies down, the judge just is like, "Well, it's another stupid foreigner. Let him go."
Yeah.
So I said, what we got to do is we got to cover this. We got to make it go viral. We got to keep it in the news cycle, and we got to keep the pressure on even when it's a little quiet. And if you do that, especially with people like Somali and Vitaly, they keep digging themselves in because they're addicted to the clout and the attention. It's like a drug to them. It is a drug to many content creators, and it's a downfall of many content creators. Is their addiction to the feeling of being popular.
Yeah.
But you have to realize there's people loving you and there's people hating you. And these people are attracting a lot of hate. And they had monetized that because when their clips and videos go viral, people watch them, they get ad revenue. But now they're in jail and also kicked off of major platforms. They're not getting that revenue. And one thing that makes Johnny very mad about me is, and by the way, his real name is Ramsey Khalid Ismail, not Johnny Somali.
He's American, correct?
He's American. He's actually Ethiopian Muslim. He claims to be Israeli. He claims to be, Jewish. He's not. And by the way, that's the thing about that too, is he went to Israel as well, and he did very offensive things, including putting Harvey Weinstein and other offensive folks into the Wailing Wall, which is Israel's holiest site. He harassed a female police officer. Lucky he didn't get shot. Was deported from that country as well. With these guys, you got to cover it. You got to stick on it. And I had so many connections in Korea because I lived there, and I knew lawyers. I I had a lawyer ex-girlfriend, Korean ex-girlfriend. We're on good terms. Like we just had two different personalities. It wasn't a bad thing. So we're so friendly. So, I knew a lawyer, hit them up, she introduced me to other lawyers. I talked to them, Korean lawyers. They won't talk about it because of defamation law, which is similar to Thailand and similar to Japan. And they stay way clear on the good side of it. But me as an American attorney, a non-Korean attorney that doesn't have a Korean law firm to worry about or any, whatever to worry about there, I can talk about it all I want. I'm completely covered. So I decided to cover that case, and the interest has been massive. It's grown my channel double almost in a year. It's just really great to see everybody coming together. I've never seen this before with Nuisance streamers. The people that are liberal and conservative agree on this. People that are Chinese and American agree on this. And no matter what your difference might be, like poor, rich, nobody likes these people. And everybody agrees it should be gone. Locals, expats, tourists, we all agree they should be gone. Everybody agrees, especially the expat community, because the big problem that we have, and let me ask you, how does anybody know you're an expat or a tourist when they just look at you?
Here?
Yeah, sure.
I guess, my skin color.
Really?
In Asia?
Yeah.
How do they know I'm an expat or a tourist?
Or a tourist,
Oh,
right?
you mean which one?
They know you're a Farang, right? They know you're Farang,
yeah.
right?
How do they know if I'm an expat or if I'm...
let's say a Thai person is looking at you, how would they know?
I think, I know when I look at other foreigners, usually based on how they dress and how they act.
Fair enough. But you know now, right?
Yes.
After learning the differences on how they dress. That's very true. And that we'll get into that a little bit later. That's
okay.
good. But a lot of people don't know off the bat, and especially people in America often get confused because visas are complicated.
Sure.
And they don't understand that it takes a lot to be here. When I was in Korea, I had to get multiple background checks. I had to get all sorts of history. I had to get a transcript. It was not easy to stay in Korea for 3 years. It was really difficult. A tourist just shows up, and that's it. It's if you want to open a Thai bank account, right?
Oh. Yeah.
You got to have something.
Yeah. And what I'm afraid of here is this. I don't think this has happened yet, but in Thailand, what tends to happen is if one person from a certain group does something bad,
yes,
there is this huge blowback on that whole group.
Yes.
And thank God there hasn't really been an American that's gotten involved in some situation. But I can think of like Chinese or Israeli or I can name a bunch of different people from different countries. And
the Kopanyang Israeli thing.
Yeah. Well, there's that, the thing in Pi. There's a whole list of things. But anyway, yeah, I know what you're saying.
And once again, it doesn't describe those groups because look, living in Thailand and living anywhere, I've lived in Miami. I grew up with Colombians, Brazilians, people from all around the world. I was a minority in Miami. There are very few like Caucasian people, non-Jewish Caucasians in Miami in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I grew up with like people from Jamaica, Cuba, Colombia, whatever. So I'm used to the international feel, and Bangkok feels like that, right?
Yeah.
People all over here, and not just Farang, right? It's like all over Asia.
Yeah.
Because you have Vietnam, Laos,
Philippines,
Indonesia, everybody's
Myanmar.
Here. Yeah, Myanmar.
A lot of Myanmar.
A lot of Myanmar. Wait, is it Myanmar?
Burmese?
Do Thai say Burmese or Myanmar?
We say both, but they prefer us to call them Burmese.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I never really know. I forget that one.
Well, I thought that Burmese describes the ethnicity.
Oh, does it?
And
Really?
Myanmar now describes the nationality.
Oh.
The same way Cambodia is Khmer and Cambodian.
Right, Khmer
Yeah.
and...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, see, I learned something today.
Could be wrong about that, but
Yeah, we're gonna get a comment. We're gonna get a comment in the chat. That's backwards.
Yeah.
yeah, don't you, God forbid you say something wrong. Like you don't research it before you
last
put it in.
night I misquoted the Bible. I misquoted which book, whether the book of Hebrews in the Christian Bible is in the Old Testament or New Testament, and my chat just flamed me. Like, you just gotta live with it.
It's the Old Testament, Ern, just in case you're wondering.
It's the New Testament.
Oh, it's the New Testament.
I got him. Christian fail.
Yeah, I went to a Catholic high school.
And I was almost
Really?
a pastor, and I also screwed it up. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways.
Ern's like, what's a Hebrew?
What is that?
Okay, so back to
So Nuisance streaming. I do cycle around.
Johnny Somali. So can you update us? What are his actual charges?
So he started with charging with just obstruction of business, which is impeding a business in their normal operations. He started with one charge. He's now at 7. He's got 3 counts of obstruction of business for 7-Eleven, for disturbing the bus and metro, which, as you know, in Japan and Korea, they like to be on time. If you keep them from being on time, you've disturbed their normal operations. And then a third one for Lotte World, for what he did at Lotte World. He stopped a ride there, which disrupted their normal operations. He's also charged with 2 counts of the Minor Crimes Act, which is it's minor, as the name says, for harassing people with a dead fish. He went around with dead fish and was shoving it in people's face. And the other one was for, I believe, twerking and making monkey noises or something like that on a bus and metro as well. And then 2 that are really interesting that have just come up are deep fakes. Are you familiar with what a deep fake is?
Yeah. So what did he do?
He made a deep fake of a Korean girl who is a streamer. Her name's Bong Bong. And he made a deep fake of them kissing and in like romantic situations when they absolutely weren't. And he told Koreans that this is my girlfriend. So he faked like a relationship with this girl, and also what constitutes in Korea legally sexual activity, because kissing is sexual, because it kind of shows that if you say this is my girlfriend and you show kissing, it's implying that you're having sex. So it's considered sexual. So he did one deep fake there that he showed and monetized on his stream, which is very bad under Korean law. And he created a stream of his roommate and ally, this guy called Hank Yu. He's a Korean. He stays in his apartment. Hank and this other Korean streamer who was hunting Johnny. And they were both naked, kissing each other and making out. So he made 2 deepfakes and he showed them on stream. So those are crimes. Those are very serious crimes that carry jail time. So he's facing that. And it's not looking good for Johnny.
Not smart to like publicly document your crimes like this.
This is what makes nuisance streaming so crazy. These people think they can get away with it when they document it. Because look, let me ask you a question. So you've seen drunk people,
Yes,
and you've seen like drunk farang around.
of course.
And most of the time, if you see like a random farang who's drunk, is he going to go to jail? Like doing something stupid? Most of the time.
Need to see like how stupid, like is that much, or just like something like, oh, we've seen many times he's not gonna go into the jail.
Yeah, like yelling or something like that.
That's probably just like someone stop him and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like they would just be kind of sabaya about it and kind of just like,
they don't really, it's like just some stupid people, some stupid friend, and don't really care.
Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly. They would just whatever about it. And they're taking advantage of the fact that in many of the countries here, and also in Japan and Korea, they might be like, oh, it's a stupid foreigner, just let him be stupid. But that's them taking advantage of that because they know that. And they know they're just going to be, hey, they're stupid, just ignore them. But what they're doing is they're monetizing the fact that they're making fun of the country. So they're really making fun of the country, whether it's Thailand or Japan or Korea, saying, look at how, and this is their words, look at how weak these people are because they won't arrest us for this. We can mock their country freely and they can't do anything about it. We can disobey their rules and they won't do anything about it. And they make money on that. They make tips on that. And that's what's really offensive about it, is they are degrading the people here. They also speak very poorly of countries in general and make horrible racial stereotypes about all the countries, whether it's Korea, Japan, or Thailand.
So in this Johnny Somali case, how was he arrested?
He had a travel ban placed on him. So when they started to investigate him for this, they placed a travel ban on him. So when he showed up at the airport, he tried to leave and they said, you can't leave, you're under investigation. He was given the charges against him at a certain point, but in Korea, they do not put you they don't put you in jail before trial. You stay home. So what's happened with Johnny Somali, and what's so fascinating about this case, is he's running around committing more crimes while he's on trial. And this never happens. I mean, and I've spoken to American lawyers, British lawyers, Thai lawyers, Korean, Japanese.
But he knows he gotta get into jail after that, so he's just trying to make a lot of money.
No, here's the thing.
Before.
Here's the thing, Ern. He thinks he's American.
Uh-huh.
Americans don't go to jail.
Really?
He thinks he thinks Americans don't go to jail in Asia. He really believes this. Genuinely, he believes this.
Yeah.
He thinks they're just going to give me a fine at worst. And that's going to be it. There's no way I can go to jail. I would direct in Thailand, I would direct your attention to the Klom Prem World Cup.
What's that?
You've never heard about that?
About what?
Was it Klong Prem, the prison here? There was a World Cup game that they would play with the prisoners. There's so many prisoners from different countries. They would play a soccer game between the inmates from different countries. It happened way back in the day. But I don't know. I think they used to televise it. I don't think they televise it anymore. But the point of the matter is, foreigners go to jail all the time. They go to jail in Korea. They go to jail in Japan. They go to jail here. Definitely, they go to jail here. So I think it's what we say, FAFO, like he's messed around and he's finding out, because he's now realizing there's consequences, and he's now realizing that, oh shoot, I made these mistakes, and there's real consequences for them, and he's facing some serious time. Now, it's not going to be life in prison. There's no death sentence for this, but I mean, it's up to, at this point, 12 years in prison. That's the maximum, 12 and a half. So that's not something to laugh about if he gets hit with the absolute maximum. Now, I don't think he'll get hit with the maximum, but
what do you think will happen?
He'll get some. I think he will get some prison time. I hope it's a lot. I hope it's somewhere north of 3. I'll be happy. 3 to 5, I'd be happy. And I think that would set a precedent for all of Asia. The same thing with Vitaly. To stop people from monetizing content and monetizing making fun of countries and making fun of people and making people uncomfortable. It's not the reason why you want people to come here, and the type of tourist that is a nuisance streamer is the person you want not here. You want good people here. And what I love about Asia, especially with the expats, is I think there's a lot of cool people here. There's awesome people here. I mean, really awesome people in Thailand that have crazy stories, and they're just really good people. And I want to be around those people. I don't want to be around them.
Yeah, but they're not live streaming their lives.
Exactly,
10 years
exactly. Well, some of them are. I mean, you met some people that do some streams, and but the streams are kind of wholesome. Like or sort of wholesome, right? Like the roti lady,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like there's like, or Mudang, like Mudang streaming,
Mudang.
Yeah, Mudang is fine, right? Mudang is fine. Like we have no problem with Mudang, but the problem is it's easier to be negative than positive. And people don't want to do the hard work to put in the positive time to build something positive. They want to get the quick negative.
Yeah.
Because you can go negative, and Johnny Somali went negative within a year or two. And he, boop.
So you mentioned this other guy, Vitaly.
Vitaly, yes.
So he is also he's American? Is he Russian-American?
So he's not, no, he's
immigrant?
Russian. He has a U.S. green card. He is not a naturalized citizen.
So let's not claim this one. Let's call him Russian.
Well, actually, it's funny. So recently, we found this out this week. There's a little update in his case. After everything is done there, whether he serves time in prison or not, even if he's not guilty, he will have to leave. But both the U.S. and Russia have said they will not deport him, which means they will not pay for his plane ticket home. So he's going to have to figure out where he's going to go and which plane ticket he's going to buy to go home. It's hilarious. But Vitaly was a person who got started doing pranks, and the pranks were genuine pranks, right? Like pretending he's a hitman with a suitcase full of money, or doing other stuff like that. He also streaked at the World Cup.
The last one?
No, like a couple
ago.
back.
Okay.
And he put like his Instagram or YouTube on his chest and like ran around the World Cup. Which, look, I mean, it's a bit of a bother, but whatever. I'm not like horribly offended by that. It just kind of delays the game and really hurts him when he gets tackled and fined or arrested for that. But then he kind of escalated to more in-your-face stuff. So he started getting more in people's faces. And his sort of thing is he'll go and he'll be really rude or mean to somebody, but then afterwards he pays them money. So in his mind, it's okay. It's okay to be rude to you because after he gives you some money. And I don't know how you guys feel about that. Like, is it okay if someone came up In the case that he did with in the Philippines, he came up to a elderly woman, someone's probably grandmother or aunt, and said, "I'm going to rob you." If that was your mom and somebody said, some random big foreign guy came up and said, "I'm going to rob you,"
I'd be catching a charge too.
Yeah, right. And yeah, exactly. And like the reaction is like the reaction that I think I would have. Like if that was my mom or my aunt, I'd be trying to catch a charge as well. And beyond that, your dignity and respect are not bought with money. And if someone disrespects you and then tries to pay you off, and he would try to pay them like a little bit of money. It's like if somebody came up and did that and they're like, "Oh, here's like Nungroy, oh, I paid you. You shouldn't be happy. I gave you a little bit." It's super insulting.
After the prank?
After the prank.
And what are some of the things he did? Because I saw he was like at a mall.
A lot.
He like stole a bike or
he
a
stole
motorcycle.
a motorcycle. He stole the security guard's hat. He tried to take his gun because they're armed in the Philippines.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. Tried to take his gun, which in the U.S. would have gotten shot.
Yeah.
He kissed the guard. He stole a fan. He said, "I'm going to rob you," to a woman. And I believe, also in the same time period, he crashed a trike, it's a motorbike with a thing on the side. So he kind of like crashed into somebody kind of intentionally. He also, on Boracay, he harassed a like surfing instructor, and he encouraged his fans to engage in cyber defamation. So essentially to go and leave bad ratings on the business. Even though they'd never been there and never used the business, just to do bad things to the guy. So it's all problems. And he essentially was guided to do this by shockingly Filipinos that enabled him. His cameraman is also a kick streamer who came and enabled him to do that. And now Vitaly was detained. He was actually taken into jail, unlike Johnny. So he's behind bars. He's not in 5-star hotel like he was before. And Vitaly does have money, unlike Johnny. So he's behind bars. He is waiting for the trial. But in the Philippines, the courts are backed up. The courts are slow. So it could be a year or two before he goes to trial. And then once he has to serve his time, he could be sentenced to up to 18 months for what he has right now, and they can add more charges later. Right now, he's charged with unjust vexation, which is a very easy to prove crime. Essentially, it's when you bother somebody unreasonably.
Yeah.
What was the thing that they were like, okay, we got to get this guy? Was there one thing?
I think with this threatening to rob an old woman. I mean, that's like that one was, everybody was like, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, and he came up to her, and said very violently, "I'm going to effing rob you." He's like, stop right now. And then after she just walked off and she was scared, he started cursing at her, calling you an effing liberal and saying she's wearing a COVID mask. It's Manila and there's air pollution. Yeah. She's wearing it for the air most likely, or she's sick and being respectful, right?
Yeah.
It's not because she's worried about
I don't think
COVID.
she knows who's running in the U.S. election.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's like, it's so weird. He was making like U.S. references. And by the way, as a side note, using those frameworks here is like totally useless if you're like U.S. like framework. Get rid of that as an expat.
So, okay, we got Somali, we got Vitaly.
Yes.
Both either in prison or possibly heading to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is going to curb these nuisance streamers going forward, or no?
If they're taken seriously, it will curb them. If they play it off as a joke and just let them go with a slap on the wrist, it will get worse. Because Asia is very popular for streaming right now. Japan is almost up there with Thailand in level of tourism, which is insane because Thailand is completely structured for tourism. Japan really doesn't have enough hotels and tour guides and people to support it. So they're overwhelmed with tourism. And it's only going to get worse because these people see the money and they're going to come and just do worse things because they know they can get away with it. Do
you think the platforms like the Kick, the Twitch, whatever platform, do you think they have responsibility?
They do, but they're hard to nail down legally because it's a international lawsuit costs millions of dollars. And trying for Korea or Thailand or Japan or somewhere to try to sue an American company internationally for, one streamer, it's really difficult. They could try to do some sort of blocking, but then there's VPNs. There's
like
ways around
too
that.
many steps.
Yeah. There's ways to get around it, right? So they're responsible. I do believe that. But it's difficult to hold them responsible. I think that's the real problem. I think YouTube, the bigger ones are responsible, YouTube and Twitch, those are fine. But some of the smaller ones, there definitely are patterns of behavior where these folks go out and do these bad things repeatedly. So they know now, and they know they're profiting off of it. Okay. Often, by the way, because they promote online gambling, which is illegal in the countries where they promote it. Yes.
I had no idea.
Their main advertiser is stake.com, or that's for kick, but there's others that have gambling website. And so gambling can be illegal in the country you're in, like Korea, for example. Online gambling is illegal, but they're still there advertising it while they're streaming there. So it's really a lot of interesting questions. And I think there might be some possibility for them to go after the folks for advertising streaming. And also one of the things I advocate for, and I think is smart, is once these guys are deported once, or once these guys have a problem or a police report, make a list of these folks, and next time they try to come in, just deny them.
Yeah, that's a good point because, like, for example, gambling is illegal here in Thailand.
Correct.
So you can't advertise stake.com.
And these people are doing it here.
But
too,
they have this kind of indirect way to do that.
It's a direct way, essentially. I mean, it's indirect because it's online, right? And they're streamers, but they get around it, and they shouldn't. And there needs to be more attention on it. And I think if more people, watch videos and get educated about it, I think there could be action on it. I mean, it's very easy to do. I think for locals, whether they're Koreans, Japanese, or Thai, I think everybody wins. The locals all win because you keep out annoying people. You stop online gambling promotion, and it's a win-win. So I think stopping these people, everybody wins.
Now, I haven't seen too many of these types of people in Thailand. I heard about this Ice Poseidon situation.
Saw Johnny before he went to Japan.
Really?
He was in Thailand. Yeah.
Really? Where was he?
Yeah, he was by Cowboy. Which yeah.
Yeah.
He was by Cowboy. And I was near Terminal 21 side. But I saw him. And I was with a friend, and I could not, I wouldn't confront him, but I could not follow him or see what he was doing or anything like that. But obviously I've seen him now in the Korean court. He made a face at me while he was in court because he knows I'm covering him. I'm his number one enemy. But I have seen streamers here, but the streamers I see are usually respectful.
What about I Show Speed? I saw he was here. He was very popular.
I never saw him. I Show Speed probably has a lot of that set up for him beforehand because he gets crowds of people that flock and swarm him, so he has to worry about his personal safety. But there was that one incident that it was kind of trending in the news here where this streamer, he was a Iranian kick streamer, was blasting music on the BTS.
Oh, that was a streamer.
That was a streamer.
Oh, this makes so much more sense.
That was a streamer. That's why he was doing it, and that's why it's a controversy.
Okay, hold on. Let's catch people up. So, how long ago was this? A few weeks ago?
This was a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so there was a guy was it the BTS or the MRT?
MRT.
Okay.
Sorry, BTS above ground, MRT below ground.
Same thing, whatever.
Whoa. They're very different.
So there was a guy on the MRT with a big PA speaker.
Like a
big one, bring to a party.
Like a party or a club.
Yeah. And he was blasting music, being annoying.
Yes.
And if you've been to Thailand for 5 minutes,
right,
you know that when you ride the train, most people are pretty quiet and pretty respectful. Yes. And so he's just having a party by himself. And what happened?
A Thai guy confronts him and is like, hey, don't do that, right? Essentially don't do that. And he's all offended by that. He's like, oh, you act like I'm ruining your day and you act like I'm committing murder or whatever. No, you're being disrespectful to other people. And the person was right to commit them. Apparently, though, I was reading an article, I think on the Tiger or somewhere else that said there was debate about whether it's okay to play music on a speaker in the MRT.
Well, I think sometimes people just put these articles because they want to start a discussion. They want to start a conversation. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we all know we're not going to.
Yeah, you agree that that's annoying.
Yeah, but actually, I've seen, I don't know if it's foreign girl or not also did that, but I don't think it's a live stream, but also bring the very big speakers and was, I think, on MRT or BTS, I guess, and also blast the music loud. And people seems around her seems enjoy. So I don't really know it's gonna be a problem.
See, this is how it starts because if they have a flock of friends around them and the friends are all having fun, then it kind of normalizes it, right?
Yeah, but But it's kind of like she's done that in so many countries. And then once she came to Thailand, she also did that. And I saw her video, a lot of videos did that.
See, everybody's copying that trend. It's like TikTok, right?
Yeah, it's on TikTok, on Instagram.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, and then they try to like record like the people, the reaction of everybody. And I don't know, it's feel like they seem enjoy. So I don't know, like, is it annoying people or not? Or people just vibe with it?
Ern just made the argument.
But in real life, I don't think people gonna be okay with that. But it's just in the video, people seems to be enjoying, like the people around her.
But my thing is like, if you're gonna make the video, ask for permission from the company or the MRT to do it. So like, hey, can I like go here? We're just gonna use this track. Be respectful about it, you know. And there's a possibility they might allow you to do that, right?
Yeah, but that's also a different concept than if someone's doing the streaming thing with the express intention of annoying people to get views and reactions.
Well, the TikTok is to see the reaction of everybody in the train, right?
Yeah, sure.
So there's going to be people that are not liking it too.
But you can do it in a way where it's if you get permission or you set it up.
You could.
Whereas if you're doing the streaming thing, the whole point is to annoy people.
Yes, correct.
So, you know.
But by the way, the thing is, these people normally don't. That's the problem, is that they don't get permission before and they just do it. And that's kind of controversial because look, if you're filming, I mean, when like Lisa did the video in Yarawat, the Chinatown, right? They had to get permission. They have a permit. They have to close everything down. They film. They ask for permission, right? If you're going to film, you ask for permission in a public place. You ask for permission, you get a permit, right? They're not getting permits or anything. They're just going out and doing it, right? Which is undercutting what they should do. It's stepping by the process.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And you've got to stand in line and do the process like everybody else.
I think Thai people have become, for better or worse, accustomed to some of these foreign YouTubers, content creators, TikTokers. I mean, Bangkok seems to be like the content creator capital of the entire world at this point.
It's up there with Miami. Miami was getting there when I was living there. It was I would debate it was in the U.S. the capital for content creation, but Bangkok is internationally.
Yeah,
I think one of the capitals, and it's like you said. There's people that are openly here and people that are stealth here.
Yeah,
and you'd be surprised.
I think most people though making videos are, you know, somewhat smart about it. They either ask for permission expressly or they kind of, you know, pick and choose their situations where like, okay, I'm not going to bother someone if I film something here. I
think the Thailand content creators are some of the smartest and most tactful. It's almost like they have like content creator grung chai, you know, it's like they understand like you have to follow the rules, you have to be respectful, you have to be positive, like generally, right? They understand like there's also like a little bit difference in the laws here. I think most people that are living here kind of learn at least a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So they kind of know the basic pitfalls and they stay away from them. I think the content creators here generally do a fantastic job. And I think if other cities had content creators like they have in Bangkok, there'd be less people in Bangkok maybe, but they're all here, you know?
Well, I think when people fly in, they do the thing where they fly in for like a week. Yeah. They don't know anything about the place.
Yeah.
And they just, you know, go at it.
Yep.
That can be dangerous because you don't know what the cultural norms are, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. Even sometimes, you know, because I have another channel too, where I'm not filming in a room. I'm filming outside.
Outside? You go outside? That's
I know,
weird.
Right? People think I just live
I never
here,
leave
sleep
my room.
there.
Yeah.
But you know, I'll be with a Thai friend. I'll be like, "Do you think this is okay? What do you think?" You know, I won't just whip out a camera and be like, "What's up? Oh my God, this amazing street food is so delicious." You know, like what?
Yeah, no, that would be bad. That would be bad, especially if like, you know, once again, if they're like, "Oh, I hate it. This is the worst ever," right? Like you're not going to be like, "Okay, maybe that's not the that's not the take we're doing," right?
Yeah.
You know, but generally, by the way, that's never been the case. Everyone that's come to Bangkok that tried the food, I have a friend that just came this week, first time, loves it. I've never had anybody come here and say they don't love it.
Well, what do you think
objectively?
When foreigners come to Thailand, what should they be careful about?
I think they should be careful about making assumptions about Thailand. I think you should experience it with an open mind, and you should understand that Thailand has really upscale stuff. It's got all sorts of food, all sorts of things to do. And what you should not assume is that you know, right? Have the open mind of like, you're going to learn something and you're going to learn something about Thailand. Or
Yeah,
learn
because some people just like watch the news or like watch things on YouTube and they assume that it's exactly what a YouTuber says. But actually, if you explore the real local thing, you maybe see the different things.
Exactly. Or maybe they're just a Pattaya YouTuber, or they're just a Phuket YouTuber.
Especially about like, you know, assume that Thai girls are like this, like
yes,
that.
Yes,
while
yes.
you never experienced that.
Yes,
you know?
it's not all Pattaya and like soy cowboy. Like and people may think that, but that's completely wrong. It's completely mischaracterizing Thailand and the experiences you can have here. And beyond that, I think that a lot of the people that are here, sometimes you're here so long, you forget about how great it is in comparison, and you forget the difference, and you forget that new feeling, you know? Like, you probably remember the feeling when you first got off the plane, right?
I remember thinking like, this is such a weird place. Like, yeah.
And it was weird at first.
Yeah.
But now you sort of get it, right?
The funny part is now if I go back to the US, it's reversed.
Yes,
That feels weird to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, it is totally reverse culture shock when I go back. I'm like, wow, this has changed. This has gotten even worse. I'm glad I left. But it's something where, you know, people need to understand that you're going to change your perspective after you learn more and you see more and experience more. And I think for Bangkok, it's a safe place. It's a place where you're going to do well. I mean, sure, you might pay too much for a tuk-tuk, you know, once or twice if you're on Sukhumvit Road, but you learn what the normal rate is. You download the Grab app.
Yeah.
Right?
The more you live, the more you know.
Exactly. Like, I paid once, my like Thailand story is, I once paid 900 baht for a tuk-tuk from Khao San to Sukhumvit Soi Samsipok. And because I didn't ask for the price up front, and it was late at night, and I've been drinking, and I was just like, I don't want to argue this right now. I'm just going to pay the 900 baht. But that's like criminal right now.
Yeah, you probably could have gone to Myanmar with that.
Yeah, yeah, 900 baht. Come on. But, you know, it's like, okay, at the end of the day, it was safe. It was fine. It was fast. You know, there wasn't nothing ever has happened that's had any serious consequence beside me spending, you know, 20 baht, 100 baht more than I would have if I negotiated harshly. Right. So I don't think there's a lot of pitfalls for Bangkok. I really, truly don't.
Okay, cool. Well, Andrew, thank you for coming by.
My pleasure.
We're almost neighbors. If people want to follow you, where's the best place for them to check you out?
Follow me at Legal Mindset on YouTube. That is the best place to find me. You can always join my private communities on legalmindset.locals.com. It's my private community. On X, I am The Legal Mindset. And I stream pretty regularly. Usually try to do it every other day, But lately, there's been a lot of news, so I've been almost every day streaming. I've been trying to take a little bit of break. I took a break for Songkran, which was absolutely fantastic this year. I loved it.
Yeah.
That you can hit me up. I also have another channel, Go East Gentlemen, where I help people that are considering moving to Asia, men and women that are considering moving to Asia, and want some talking about different visa options, different remote working, stuff like that. I help them if they're considering Japan, Korea, or Thailand. So they can hit me up or check out that channel.
Cool. Guys, if you want to see more of the people that we meet right here in Bangkok, hit the subscribe button. Check out our Clips channel. Find us on Apple and Spotify podcasts. And we will see you in the next one.